The courtroom was silent, thick with tension. Judge Daniel Carter, a man known for his integrity, sat on the bench, his fingers gripping the gavel a little too tightly. The accused, Rebecca Lewis, stood before him, her face pale but defiant. "The evidence is clear," the prosecutor declared, his voice sharp. "Rebecca Lewis is guilty of fraud and embezzlement. We request the maximum sentence." Rebecca shook her head furiously. "I swear I didn't do it!" she cried. Judge Carter sighed heavily. "Miss Lewis, the court deals in facts, not emotions. Do you have anything else to say before I give my verdict?" Then, suddenly, "Daddy is lying!" A collective gasp rippled through the room. Everyone turned to see Emma Carter, the judge's 16-year-old daughter, standing at the back of the courtroom, her face burning with rage. She pushed past the stunned crowd and marched forward, Judge Carter's face drained of color. "Emma, sit down!" he commanded, but Emma wouldn't stop. Her voice was trembling but determined. "You know Rebecca Lewis is innocent," she shouted. "You know who really stole the money." The courtroom buzzed with whispers. The jury members exchanged anxious glances. Even the prosecutor looked unsure. Rebecca clutched the stand, her breath shallow. "Emma, what are you saying?" Emma turned, her gaze locking onto a man sitting in the gallery, Richard Hale, her father's closest friend and a powerful businessman. "It was him!" she cried. "Richard Hale stole the money! And my father is covering for him!" All eyes turned to Richard, who froze. Then, after a brief hesitation, he scoffed. "This is ridiculous! She's just a child!" Judge Carter's hands trembled as he reached for his gavel, but he didn't strike it. He couldn't. His daughter's words had shaken him to the core, but Emma wasn't done yet. "Tell them, Dad!" she demanded, her voice breaking. "Tell them what happened the night before the trial. Tell them about the envelope." Judge Carter's breath hitched. "Envelope? How did she?" Richard's face twitched. "This is nonsense. Stop this circus, Judge Carter." But Emma turned to the defense attorney. "Check my father's office. In his desk drawer, you'll find an envelope, $50,000 in cash. It was given to him the night before this trial. Richard Hale bribed my father to make sure Rebecca was convicted." The room erupted. Reporters scribbled furiously. A cameraman zoomed in on Judge Carter's stunned face. The prosecutor looked completely blindsided. Judge Carter's breathing grew unsteady. "Emma, you don't understand." But Emma took another step forward, her voice shaking. "Oh, I understand perfectly." She pulled out her phone. "And I have proof." She tapped the screen, and the sound of a recorded conversation filled the courtroom. Judge Carter's own voice played through the speakers. "I don't have a choice, Richard. If I don't do this, everything falls apart. Then make sure Rebecca is found guilty." Richard's voice responded coldly. "Or your little secret will come out." Dead silence. Judge Carter's head snapped toward Richard, his eyes wide with horror. You recorded our conversation?" Emma nodded. "No, Dad. I did." A slow realization washed over the courtroom. The Honorable Judge Carter, the man trusted by the law, had been caught in his own lie. Richard, now realizing he was doomed, shot up from his seat. He bolted for the door. "Stop him!" shouted the prosecutor. A security guard tackled Richard to the ground. He fought back, but it was useless. Judge Carter, his face pale and defeated, turned to his daughter. "Emma, you don't understand what you've done." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "No, Dad. I understand exactly what I've done." Rebecca Lewis, who had been silent all this time, took a shaky breath. "So, I was never supposed to walk free." Judge Carter lowered his head. He had no defense. No more lies. The defense attorney turned to the judge. "Your Honor, in light of this shocking evidence, I request that all charges against my client be dropped immediately." Judge Carter, now just a broken man, nodded. "Motion granted." The gavel came down, but this time, it didn't bring justice, It brought the downfall of a judge who had lost his way, and all because his own daughter had the courage to speak the truth.